Immersion, we're going to the lesson 5, and this is about data gatherings and ethics. We're talking about ethics in research. And for the topics, for the topics to be covered for today, we're going to talk about data collect. We have four main topics: data collection procedures, ethical considerations in research, informed consent and confidentiality, and lastly, avoiding bias and plagiarism in research. And for the learning outcomes, end of the lesson, students should be able to do the following: ability to choose appropriate research design, whether it is qualitative or mixed. Method, I know we have talked about these methods last time, and develop data gathering instruments, developing or using interview, expressing the purpose clearly, using open-minded questions, securing voluntary participation, consent, protecting participants' personal info, protecting their privacy, and defining plagiarism, how to use plagiarism software, and of course citation, applying citation styles, but we are always using the EPA format, but you can also use the MLA or the Chicago format of citations. Ating mga topics to be covered and the learning outcomes. Why collect data? Uncovering truth and insights. Collecting data allows us to explore meaningful insights, make informed decisions, and ultimately understand the world better, fostering a spirit of inquiry and critical thinking. So we're not just guessing. If we are doing research, we are not just guessing. We should be objective. That is why we have objectives of research. We have 5 objectives and visual objectives. We generate the questions or the questionnaires. And based on the questionnaire, we're going to gather data to answer the objectives. So you can have like gathering data about the demographics of the respondents, the age, the gender, the civil status, educational background. Yan ang mga natin, mga reasons why we are collecting data. So that we will have informed decisions pag tayo nagbigay ng conclusion. We conclude based on the, we recommend based on the conclusion, and we conclude based on the findings. Wala tayong findings if we are not going to gather data. And what is data? Data is collection of facts, numbers. It can be age. It can be income of the respondents. It can be words. Gender example. It can be words. Observations. Mga ano ang pinili nila? Example, the Likert scale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Are they always something? Are they frequently doing something? Or sometimes they are doing something, or never, they have been never doing something. Or they can choose as many as they want. Yung mga data na hinahanap natin. And through data processing and data analysis, organizations transform those data collected from the respondents into valuable insights. Kasi mayroon tayong part ng research wherein we present, we interpret, and we analyze data based on sa mga survey natin. And based on the interpretation, we conclude and we recommend. That is that is the result, or the goal is to have improved decision making and drive and better outcomes. For example, if you are conducting research that is business related, you can do a informed decision based on the gathered data. Mas maganda yung outcome decision pag objective yung ating pag-gather ng data. And reasons to collect data, understand trends. Collecting data helps us identify patterns and trends. Example, we are doing research in marketing. Ano ba yung trend sa marketing? Ano bang favorite products na mga example, mga generation Z, ano ba mga latest? Example, latest, what are the latest strategy in doing marketing or promoting products of the organization. We collect data to have informed decisions. Data collection empowers individuals and organizations to make well-informed decisions based on solid evidence. Example, you are making research on what type of business names ang credible, or what type of business names are more marketable to the respondents, and by is it better to use Tagalog words in your business names, or is it better to have slogan? So based on the respondents, it is better to have slogans for the business than the business will have slogans in their marketing, the promotional marketing effort. Reasons to collect data, program evaluation. By gathering data, we can effectively evaluate programs or projects. Kasi we have type of questions wherein the respondents will rate. Example, in project 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Example, the question is, do you agree that the project of the school is beneficial? 5 is the highest and 1 is the lowest. Example, 5, strongly agree. And 4, moderately agree. Then you have neutral. Then you have disagree, highly disagree. So based on that, you can evaluate kung maganda ba yung program being implemented by the school or by the university, or the company implementing a new salary scheme. So you can ask the employees if they are highly satisfied, moderately satisfied, neutral, or highly satisfied, or highly dissatisfied. So you can evaluate the program based on the result of the survey. And based on the survey, you can create solutions. Yun naman talaga yung ating purpose. Every research should have a contribution to the general body of knowledge, so that you can create a solution. Common data collection methods, survey and review, and observation. So they have different advantages and disadvantages, but the most common is a survey technique, a quick way to gather opinions from main people. So the advantage of survey, isang araw you can gather more result. So if you have 50 questionnaires, you can distribute that randomly. Example, sa isang lugar, one day you can gather like 100 survey, kasi let's say the average they can answer the questionnaires 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, and you have distributed like 10, so you have 10 respondents within 5 minutes. So in an hour, you can imagine how many respondents can answer. Of course, survey have disadvantages and it also has disadvantages. Example, surveys, you don't know the reasons behind the survey because they will just check yung kanilang mga choices. And the other one, the interview. Ito medyo matagal, personal approach to collect detailed insights. And personal kasi you're talking, you're facing the interviewee, you're facing face-to-face interviewing. The advantage, you can have a deeper understanding of the questions. The interview can expound on their answers. So hindi lang sila namimili, can go deeper if you have open-ended questions you can ask them. And of course, interviews have disadvantages as well. For example, kunti lang magagana mo data. Kunti lang magagana mo respondents. Kasi example in an hour, hindi ba may interview isang oras? Ba lang? So medyo matagal, time consuming. The other one, sa interview you have to list down all the answers of the respondents if you have a recorder. So pwede mo siyang record, but you have to write. You have to transfer the data recording into a Word format. And we also have the observation techniques. The naman is what you see is what you get. Although you don't hear the respond, you can only observe them visually. You can use personal observation. You can use CCTV observation. Advantages, you can observe the subject of the respondents in their natural natural setting, normal setting. What you see is what you get. And obviously the disadvantage is you don't know how to interpret yung mga mannerism, actions ng mga subjects. Unless you have a good example psychologist, they can read a person like a book. May pag ikaw lang, it's difficult to translate into descriptive yung mga actions na napanood mo. Of course, we also have the FGD, the focus group discussion. Ito naman ay ginagamit natin if you're going to get expert opinions for a particular data, particular situation. Example, you're sitting down with managers on how to come up with a new innovative cell phones. So you need to hear mga experts. So that is for FGD, the focus group discussion. And let's go to the surveys and questionnaires. A fun way to gather opinions. Effective tools for collecting wide range of opinions. Marami magka-cover at mabilis. Kasi mabilis silang magsagot. So they allow participants to share insights conveniently and contribute to valuable research. So convenient kasi hindi natin kausap yung mga respondent so they can think right away. Kaya lang, check lang sila ng check. But they can think without pressure. Hindi tulad sa interview na tinatanong natin sila. Sa pag-survey, they can think clearly if they will be given enough time to answer the survey. Engaging conversations, understanding a through dialogue or interview. Interviews provide an in-depth. So there is one advantage of interview, in-depth, personal ang pag-gather ng data dito. They're not just saying yes or no. They're not just saying 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They are not just checking 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They are not just checking multiple response. You can get here rich understanding or perspective ng respondent. Example, she choose yes, isang survey. He chooses 5, 4, 3, 1. He chooses 5. What's the reason behind bakit 5? So you can ask, you can interrogate or get in-depth meaning or the reason behind doon sa kanyang sagot. Kasi Although that is open-ended. But pag open-ended, medyo mahirap mag-interpret. Mag-generalize yung paper pag open-ended. Maganda dito pag open-ended, talagang pero rich in sagot, no? Hindi lang siya nag-check kasi. Observations technique, understanding behavior and context. Observations involve watching through CCTV, recording behavior or events. Wala ditong interference. You don't talk to the respondents. You don't ask questions for the respondents. Yun nga lang, no? Natural interactions, dynamics, the setting. Kumbaga wala siyang inhibitions, walang pressure. Talagang natural yung kanyang dito, yung sagot. Pinapipili mo siya ng isang department store, pinapili mo yung mga anong pipiliin nila. So, when it comes to color, may 3 kulay, no? Tapos pinapili yung mga respondents. To CCTV camera, you will generalize kung anong kulay yung pinaka-preferred ng mga respondents. And based on that, you can use the result sa pag-improve ng iyong mga product. Example, one result of a survey, observation, yung bang you will put at the counter, you will put 2 products and you will test, you will observe saan madalas papunta yung bagong pasok na customer. Papunta ba sa kanan o papunta sa kaliwa? And more often than not, the customer will just enter the shop or the store will go to his to the right. Kasi naturally, maraming mga right-handed. So, ang tendency is to go to the right. What is the result of this for the shop owner or the business? No? So, you will put on display products mo to the right of the entrance. Experiments, testing ideas and variables. Experiment allow us to test the mga science projects. So, ideas by changing variables. May dependent variables and independent variables. And what you want to know, what is the effect of the independent variable dun sa dependent variable. Example, you want to test yung study habit. Kung mas marami yung time sa pag-aaral, kasi tama na effect dun sa based sa mga learners. Isang dependent variable dito, yung grades. And the independent variables is the number of hours studying. Sa mga negosyo naman, may result ba yung advertising expenses sa sales na? Kung tinaas mo ba yung advertising expense mo, gastos sa advertising, nataas ba ang benta? The dependent variable is the sales and the independent variable is the advertising expenses. Challenges in data collection, common issues. Data collection often face biases. Incomplete data, no? Example, nagpa-survey ka, hindi siya random. Namili ka na ng isang grupo ng tao at pinasagutan mo siya. So, hindi siya generalize. For example, ang target mo ay buong Quezon City. Tapos nag-survey ka lang sa Purview. Nag-survey ka lang sa Project A. So, hindi siya generalize. Meron siyang bias. And to address those issues in bias, implement careful design pag-design ng iyong survey. Example, random sampling ito gamitin. No? Or baka mamaya yung instrument mong defective, ang gagawin mo, meron ka dapat nag-validate ng mga instruments or questionnaires mo para totoo or credible yung mga tanong doon sa iyong questionnaires. And that's also important to conduct a pilot test para malaman natin kung clear ang instruction ng mga ng iyong survey, i-pilot test natin or i-test natin sa 10 na-respondent para sigurado tayong correct yung iyong instruments when it comes to clarity of instructions, grammar, tapos Ano ba, mag-check ba sila or magna-number ba sila? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Sila ba ang checkan o pwedeng maraming checkan? Yun ang mga ano, kasi mamaya, ito-survey ka, tapos hindi nila alam na marami pa na pwede pa mag-check ng marami kasi multiple response. Hindi mo nasabi. So, bias na yun. Step-by-step process. Define goals, establish key objectives to guide your data collection. Ano bang target mo dito? Within 1 week ba? Retrieve na lahat ng data. 100% retrieval. Ang goal ba dito ay magkaroon ng general solution. Choose the method. Pwede siyang qualitative, pwede siyang quantitative. You can do the interview, you can do instrument survey, you can do observation. So you can choose the more popular or the most common, of course, the survey. Pero pag survey ka, samahan mo ng interview para to supplement yung survey. Pero pag meron ka ng tools, interview or survey, you can now collect the data. But collecting the data after the validation of instruments and pilot testing. Based on the data gathered, you can now present, interpret, and analyze the result based on the survey, not from your own opinion. Review and interpret the data to draw meaningful conclusions. So we are not just guessing. Pag nag-research, we conclude based on the gathered data. Now, ethical considerations in research. Why ethics matter in research? Ethics is crucial as it ensures the protection of participants, privacy of the participants, the integrity of the data. Hindi siya nag-leak, hindi siya nagagamit ang kung sino-sino. Anonymous yung sumasagot. The result here is more trust on the researcher. So we are doing research, but at the same time, we are also respecting the privacy and rights of the individual and their well-being. So the big four principles, core concepts guiding research ethics, respect for persons. You ask them kung pwede ba silang sumagot ng research natin. You don't intimidate them to answer a question. They are free to say yes or no. So respect for persons emphasize the importance of autonomy and informed consent. They have the right to make their own decisions, whether to participate or not in a research. Beneficence focuses on maximizing the benefits and minimizing harm to participants. So, generally mga research naman ay they should have a contribution to the general body of knowledge. Kaya hindi masyadong grandeur ang mga research natin. Meron tayong at least benefit na makukuha dyan. So the participant will benefit, they are part of the research, but we also protect their well-being, absence of harm for the respondents. So we should consider potential risk. For example, they can divulge their name. Justice ensures fairness in the selection of research participants. Yung random, no? Sabihin na ito, equitable distribution. All participants have the right to be chosen. All members of the population have the chance to be chosen or to participate in the research. So there is justice na. Example, pag mas maraming population sa isang barangay o di mas marami yung mga participants doon, di pare-pareho yung number of participants kasi dapat equitable. Example, nag-survey ka sa Metro Manila, no? Mas maraming population ng Metro Manila kaysa sa Pasay, hindi mas maraming dapat ang respondents from Metro Manila. So equitable. And we don't exploit, example, the vulnerable populations Example, dati we survey before, we have only two gender, the male and the female. But now, we also consider the non-binary. The non-binary gender, ibig sabihin ng non-binary, they are neither male or female. So kasama na sila sa mga survey. You walk to the Tuskegee. Ito ay sample about the ethics in research. The Tuskegee is a field study lasted from 1932 to 1972. Ito ay neglecting naman daw African American men. Parang discrimination sa mga black na colored people. Mga ethical failures in medical research. And another one, the Milgram experiment, a controversy. The Milgram experiment highlighted the conflict between authority and personal conscience. Participants believed they were delivering painful shocks, revealing troubling insights into human behavior and ethics, psychological research. Naman siguro about psychology, then the result is about human behavior na hindi masyado siguro pang acceptable. Troubling human behavior, mga result. And another one, ethical research, the walk to Henrietta Lacks. Henrietta Lacks cells known as HeLa were taken without her consent. So retrieving something from a person, example, to be tested for DNA or any sample skin or specimen ng kanyang body without her consent. Example, you can extract, for example, urine or saliva ng isang tao nang walang consent. And they don't know saan gagamitin yung mga extracted na specimen sa kanila. So they should be properly informed kung saan gagamitin. And common ethical dilemmas, participant coercion. Ensuring participants are not coerced into participation is vital. So dapat mayroong consent. Informed consent for the individual. They should feel free to choose without pressure, walang intimidation, without undue influence. Kasi mamaya, hindi siyang mag-participate sa research, example, experimental research na may intimidation. Balancing risk, researcher must carefully weigh the potential risk against the benefits of the studies. Kung mas malaki yung weight ng risk kaysa the benefit na makukuha, so that is not ethical. Kung masyadong risky for the purpose of advancing knowledge, so dapat responsible. Data privacy, upholding confidentiality doon sa mga data na kuha sa kanila. Example, protecting the name, unauthorized access, foster trust, and encourage wider participation in the future studies. Pag mababanggit yung pangalan mo naman sa isang research, then nakapublish. Maybe in the future, some people will no longer participate. Sabi ng klase ng research kasi walang data. Kaya kapag magpa-survey ka, optional yung mga pangalan. And if you are the researcher, you should not reveal or divulge yung mga name ng mga participants. Understanding informed consent. Informed consent is the process by which participants learn about a study's purpose. Pag ikaw yung respondents, you should be informed ano yung purpose, what are the risks, ano yung benefits, risk and purpose ng research na sinasalihan mo, or you are being used or you are being asked to answer. So voluntary to participate as some participants at mayroong trust and transparency. Responsible data management practices, ensuring accuracy and integrity in data handling. So yung mga data na gather should be properly stored. private yung pag-gather ng data sa survey. Kaya lang, pag hindi naman na properly stored or hindi nakatago properly mga data. Example ng book bind. No? Bind ay nakatambak lang kung saan-saan. Walang proper management. Walang proper storage sa library. So, yung result ng sila magkakakita ng may mga questionnaires na ginamit. Pagkatapos survey, nakakalat lang. Inandun yung pangalan minsan. Sa mga questionnaires na ginamit, should be properly filed, properly numbered and filed kasi gagamitin niya in the future to verify na meron talagang survey na ginawa. It can be any disk or USB. Pero yung USB dapat properly, example, yung soft copy ng survey should be submitted to the research director and it should be properly maintained sa office ng RD or research director. So mayroon dapat na ethics committee pag final defense, no? Dapat dumaan sa ethics committee yung paper. May mga school na walang ethics committee pagdating sa research. Meron mga school na merong ethics committee. Ethics committee consideration. No? Sabihin, bago ma-publish ang isang research, alam mo na sa ethics committee. Example, kung meron informed consent ba, data privacy, proper storage, walang coercion na naganap pag-gather ng data, random something ba, lahat man ng population, they have the chance to participate. Yun ang mga hinahanap ng mga ethics meeting. Important na ang confidentiality. Why ethics matter in research? Ethics in research are vital for protecting participants and building trust. By ensuring the fair treatment, researchers create an environment where individuals feel safe and valued, ultimately enhancing the quality of findings. Hindi masyadong maganda yung findings pag may issue about trust. Pag walang ethics, no? Wala na masyadong trust na to be given dun sa researcher sa kanyang mga future research. So dapat ensure yung fair treatment, confidentiality, informed consent, walang intimidation nangyari. So the participants should not feel exploited the research. Informed consent, once again, means participants agree voluntarily. Volunteer nag-participate, nagsumagot. They were informed about the risks, the benefits, and the implications sa kanyang sagot. So basically, knowing what you are signing up for. Kasi sinabi sa iyo. So, di ba may letter, nag-survey letter. So, nakalagay din mga pangalan ng mga researchers, kung saan sila nanggaling, sa organization sila nanggaling, the title of the research, at ano mga data yung to be gathered in connection to the title, and signed by the research faculty or research advisor para totoong if you are the respondent, you will feel safe kasi pirmado no? Hindi ito basta-basta kasi pag pirmado ng research advisor, ibig sabihin niya may survey o research talagang ginagawa yung mga estudyante. Steps to obtain informed consent. To explain the study clearly, the purpose. Meron silang questions, answer the questions, and secure the agreement and maintain the record safely, yung mga sinagutan nila. So, will inform and consenting voluntary. No? They consent voluntarily and they are will informed. Common challenges in informed consent. informed consent can face obstacles like hindi naintindihan yung sulat. I mean, yung nakasulat. Example, know, they don't read, they don't well in English language. May pressure from the other person, you know. Example, yung classmate, sagutan mo na yan. Diba, ganun minsan. Sagot ka lang ng sagot para mabilis. Walang clear information. Example, what is the title? What is the study all about? Ang school galing, mga pangalan ng researchers, ayun. Yung mga issues na can hinder understanding, walang trust na mangyayari dyan. So address them, address them directly. Consent, info, obstacles, risk, implications, privacy, storage, saan gagamitin. Understanding confidentiality in research. Confidentiality ensures that participant information remains private and secured. May disclaimer naman yung letter natin, di ba? All data gathered will be for personal consumption only of the researchers, and this only for the purpose of the research and will not be divulged to outsiders. And can also mention that they can be given a copy of the result of the research. So make it sure that they will feel safe, protecting their identities, safe environment. Pag sumagot sila doon, safe, wala magkakabasang iba, ikaw lang. Yung researcher lang. Kasi minsan may mga data, may mga questions na napaka-critical, din sumagot sila. Tapos pinabasa mo sa ibang tao. So nalaman nila yung sagot ng respondent. How researchers protect confidentiality. Ayan, so they can omit your name sa survey. Anonymizing data by removing personal identifiers, sample pangalan, profile nila. If the profile are not that important, you can remove the profile. But if the profile like age, gender, status are important, the research, isama natin. Secure storage of records in lab facilities, example in the library. Or personal mo yan, di ba? Pag na-gather yung data, mga survey questionnaires, so ikaw lang may access dapat yan. Limited access to sensitive information, ikaw lang dapat. For authorized personnel only. Example, yung team mo lang, no? Ang example, yung secretary, patagin code, di mo naman kaya lahat. Pag masyadong marami, di mo naman kaya lahat. So you need an assistant. Kayong dalawa lang yung may authorized personnel that can access the result of the questionnaires. Challenges to confidentiality in research. Confidentiality can be compromised by various factors like legal obligations. Pag talagang korte ang nag-order, abogado na kailangan talaga sa kaso, that is your obligations, legal obligations to report. Risk of data breaches na pwede may mga taong makagather ng data. Example, pag soft copy, using Google Form or MS Form yung result, then meron siyang summary, diba? Somebody can breach the result. Yung kanyang Excel file. They need to share result while protecting participant identity. So, sabi na kanina, one, research should have a contribution to the general body of knowledge. But we can share the result but without mentioning the mga participants. Best practices for ethical research. Ensure ethical research practices. Use clear and simple language pag nag-survey tayo. Mamaya hindi maintindihan ng respondents yung mga question. Kaya nga meron tayong pilot testing para we are assured na yung grammar, yung uh, right right choice of words ay nandoon. Additionally, be honest about confidentiality. Pag sinabing ikaw lang ang makakakita niyan, ikaw lang talaga. And train your team on ethical standards. Hindi lang dapat ikaw may nakaalam ng ethics and research, but your team. Kasi you know about confidentiality, you know about ethicals, but your team, example, yung coder mo, dalawa sila. You don't know the ethics and research. Tapos pinagsabi. Sino mga participants. Avoiding bias and plagiarism sa research. These are two topics for the last part. Biases and plagiarism. So why it matters? Case statistics and credibility. Pag survey tayo minsan may bias. No? May pinipili mo lang ang sasagot. So walang, example, 1,000 population. Isang lugar ka lang nag-survey. Bias na. Kasi pag sinabi ng 1,000, all the members of the population have equal chance to be chosen as respondent. We should avoid bias and plagiarism in research. Example, 70% ng mga estudyante daw natin, they admitted they struggled with plagiarism. Siguro, copy-paste and copy-paste lang. They don't know how to paraphrase, they don't know how to rephrase, they don't know how to use tools in checking plagiarism, or they don't know how to use tools in paraphrasing like Wilbot, turn it in Grammarly, or probably they don't have the premium account. Kasi may bayad, di ba? Pag mag-subscribe ka sa turn it in and Grammarly and Wilbot, may subscription. So if they struggle with plagiarism, they can skew results and damage academic credibility. Pag copy-pasted yan, example, masyadong 100% of the research ay copy-pasted. Although meron tayong threshold like 20% below is allowed per institution. You know? Ibig sabihin, pag 80% ay copy-pasted, that is against academic credibility ng research. Copy-pasted eh. Pero pag although copy-pasted, pero kunti lang naman, like 15% lang. So, threshold is allowed. But, example ako, I see to it that as much as possible, 0% yung plagiarism. Dapat hindi ako lumalagpas ang 10% pag nag-research. My dissertation, my first dissertation, 2017, wala pa dati mga Grammarly, wala pa mga Turnitin dati, wala pang filter. Pero 0% in aking plagiarism result. Mano-mano manual. Ngayon kasi we have lots of tools to paraphrase, rephrase ating mga writings. Understanding bias in research. Bias occurs when research results are unfairly influenced by personal opinions or external factors. Ang mga, in conclusion, should be based on the findings, hindi yung sariling opinion. It can lead to distorted findings kasi pag opinion, distorted ang findings, hindi galing sa survey. Hindi siya reliable. Dapat wala sa personal opinion. Plagiarism naman, yun pag sinabi ng bias, no, dapat lahat sila ay, wala kang pinipiling respondents. All of them should have the equal chance to be chosen as a respondent. Pag sinabing plagiarism in research, plagiarism is using someone else's ideas or words without giving credit without citation. Kinopya mo na sa internet, verbatim, word for word. Tapos hindi mo minention ang kanyang pangalan, you did not do citation. So that is plagiarism. It has academics consequence. I know one time, one researcher talagang kinopy yung result ng isang estudyante from another university. Pinagkataong yung yung nag-check, ang research ay nagtuturo din sa isang university. So, na-compare, no? Na-plagiarize yung kanyang research. Common causes of bias, personal belief. Meron kang opinion about the research and sinulat mo sa iyong research. So, personal belief can heavily influence research outcomes. So, dapat objective. Hindi ka dapat subjective. Sometimes, unconsciously, meron kang favoritism, meron kang favorite na site, favorite option. So, mas maraming writings mo doon. Kasi doon sa kabila. Example, you are researching on same-sex marriages. Social science na research. Meron kang personal belief about the same-sex marriages. So, baka mahaluan, no, ng yung personal opinion yung sinusulat. Poor study design, a poorly designed study can result in an inaccurate or misleading data. It difficult to obtain valid result, which can ultimately kaya minsan maganda gamitin quali-quanti, no? Pag quali-quanti kasi merong qualitative part. So, you will know what are the reasons behind dun sa kanilang mga choices sa isang quantitative research. So, quali-quanti ang design. Maganda. Hindi lang sila puro check sa quantitative pero silang qualitative. Example, ang quali-quanti, yung recommendation should be quali. Bibigyan ng reco yung mga respondents. Selective data can be a cause of bias. Selective data collection occurs when researchers only include data that supports their hypothesis. Pili mo yung example, same-sex marriages. Tapos, ang respondents mo, you know for yourself that they are against. Tapos sila ang iyong sinurvey. So naturally, the result is against. On the other hand, it will choose, kung alam mo mga tao ay mga favor naman ng same-sex marriages, tapos sila lang sinurvey mo, so naturally, ay bias. So dapat random. Tapos buong Quezon City, ang iyong survey. So alamin mo ilan muna yung barangay sa Quezon City. Tapos based on the number of population, ganun karami yung mga tao o respondents sa iyong survey. Tapos, tig-5 sila. Lahat ng barangay, tig-5 respondents. Understanding why plagiarism occurs. Example, citation rules. Many students struggle with understanding citation. Basically, ang general rule sa citation, if you saw in a material online, tapos nakita mo sa magandang gamitin sa iyong study, mas kina-paste mo siya, you should rephrase and paraphrase. Now, kahit na-rephrase or na-paraphrase yung galing sa internet, mga writings, pero ko pa rin dapat gawing citation. Isang citation, kahit nag-rephrase ka, nag-paraphrase ka, hindi mo na sariling idea yon, mag-citation ka pa rin. Kasi hindi mo sa sariling idea. Nirephrase mo nga, pero hindi mo sa sariling idea. If that is the case, you should do citation. Time pressure. The pressure of deadlines can result in poor decisions regarding sourcing. Nagmamadali ka, you have the intention to paraphrase, kaya lang, because of the deadline, wala ka lang time mag-rephrase, wala ka time mag-paraphrase. Tinatamad ka nang hanapin yung author ng libro o ng articles na yung ginamit. Or pwede rin for note-taking. Kasi nasabi ko sa mga student ko, no? Pag sila ay nag-gather ng data from the internet, pinapakuha ko yung author, yung title of the article, yung journal na pinanggalingan, yung website, yung year of publication, kung kailan na-retrieve yung article. Yun, that is a proper note-taking. Meron kang nililista, example, plus the DOI of the journal, no? Dapat kinukuha mo yon nila ng mga researchers. So pag tiyaga nilang kunin, kasi minsan, may nakita silang article and they were overwhelmed. Tapos kinapabi sa kanilang file, sa kanilang laptop. And they forgot saan ang galing. So, pwede mag-backtracking naman through history. Kaya lang, pag natabunan, di na alam kung saan ang galing na website. So, dapat, pag nag-retrieve sa social media or internet, mag-note-taking ka agad. Otherwise, that is poor note-taking. Consequence of bias. Bias and plagiarism can severely damage yung reputation ng researcher, leading to loss of trust from peers, limit penalties. Parang ma-red flag ka, no? Nangopya ng research, o ma-red flag ka niyan. Or your peers, your program head, your deans, the school will no longer trust you when it comes to research. At prioritized honestly. Pag nag-research ka, nag-publish sa mga article online, mayroon mga peer review. I-review mo na yung mga researches niya bago i-publish. That is one way of avoiding plagiarism for publication. Avoiding bias, practical tips for the researcher, random sampling. So, random sampling ensures diverse representation sa lahat ng population have the chance to be chosen. So, broader population, mas maganda. Pag lahat ay covered, sa buong Quezon City, properly represented. So, walang masyadong risk of bias. Yun. Kasi pag isang area ng Quezon City, cannot generalize, no? Open-minded or maintain an open mind is a crucial challenge or assumptions. So, hindi palaging, sabi ko kanina, no? Hindi pwedeng ma-influence yung personal assumption. Dapat din ay open-minded from the point of view or perspective ng mga respondents. You should not influence the research with your personal bias. Dapat objective. And practical tips for peer research, peer review. Engaging in peer reviews help identify potential biases. Yung sinasabi ko kanina, bago example, will publish my research in online. So bago siya ma-publish, ilang buwan, 3 buwan siguro bago ma-publish. Reason, it should be refereed or peer-reviewed ng mga editor ng isang journal para masiguradong peer-reviewed by your fellow researchers. Mga faculty, mga professor, they are being, example ako, I am reviewing, I'm part of review group ng isang university na pag sila nag-publish, i-review muna namin. Of course, meron siyang honorarium. How to avoid plagiarism? Strategies for academic writing, learn citation styles. For business, for example, we're using APA format. For others, Chicago ginagamit nila to give him proper credit. May kanya-kanyang style yung citation. Example, common naman yung sa pag-citation natin, the end of the paragraph na ginamit mo or the-replace mo. Parenthesis, then the name, the son of the author and the year of publication. Pag isang author lang yan, no? Maraming author, example, Cortes et al. 2024. That is what we call a citation. And paraphrase carefully, the good thing now, mayroong mga tools na ginagamit in paraphrase or rephrasing like the Quillbot. I'm using Quillbot in rephrasing it. But of course, yung mga Quillbot na dapat premium. Para unlimited yung mga words na pwede mong ilagay doon sa Quillbot. And don't forget the note-taking. Make it a habit na meron akong notes. I make it a habit na meron akong notes palagi na pag ako'y nag-hahanap, nag-gather ng mga literature na pwedeng gamitin sa aking research. I know this one is the last slide. Helpful tools. The good thing now, meron tayong mga tools na pwedeng gamitin. Citation generator, maganda itong example. isulat mo lang doon yung pangalan ng author, title of the book, journal, the year, automatic, no? Yung generator, i-format na yung iyong citation. Example, name the author, tapos first name initial, then the year publication, naka-format na siya. Example, APA format. Meron tayong citation generator. Para hindi ka na mahirapan mag-format. And we also have a plagiarism checker. Example, I'm using the Fieldbat nga, no? To check plagiarism, to check AI, or to rephrase. We are using the premium version. And meron tayong bias detection. Bias detection, we can remedy the biases. No? If we can have somebody to check to validate our questionnaires or pilot test. So that is the last slide. So thank you for listening sa ating topic now. And once again, I'm Dr. Cortez, and may I request na mag-subscribe naman sa aking munting channel. And maraming salamat, people. Bye, everyone.